And she was also like, ew, you're ugly. So she turned herself into a horse to avoid him. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Leanna if you're new, and welcome to episode 7 of Makeup and Mythology, a new series I'm doing on my channel. Well, it's not that new anymore. A series I'm doing on my channel where I do my makeup and also tell you an ancient myth. So last time we covered the hero Perseus and the deed for which he is most famous, which is slaying the Gorgon Medusa. And I also talked a little bit about Medusa and how I thought she was done super dirty. It's definitely one of my favorite stories from Greek mythology because of its fantastical nature and how it's just so different from all the other ones because it ends in a happily ever after, for Perseus at least. I mean, Medusa didn't really get a happy ending, which is my only hang-up. But you know, other than that, the story does have a fairy tale feel to it, which I really like, and everything just works out, which I find amusing. So for this episode, we're going to talk about Poseidon, the god of the sea. Particularly, we're going to talk about his greed and his struggle to court women. And I think the more you hear about him, the more you'll understand why it was such a struggle for him. So anyway, Poseidon was born to the Titan gods Kronos and Rhea, and so were his brothers Hades and Zeus, among some other gods and goddesses. Just as a little refresher, the Titan Kronos did not want heirs or anyone to overthrow him, so he swallowed all his children. And it was Rhea that protected Zeus and hid him from Kronos, and that allowed him to grow into manhood and overthrow Kronos and make him throw up his brothers and sisters. Of course, Poseidon was in this mix, and he was thrown up, and he, along with his other brothers and sisters, joined Zeus and overthrew the Titans in the Titan War. After this, Zeus took the sky, Hades took the underworld, and Poseidon took the sea. Now, Poseidon, like the sea, had a stormy and violent nature, according to Cliff Notes. I did not make that up. And he was very greedy as well, and likely not too happy with the fact that he was only king of the sea. He probably wanted to be king of the gods, honestly. At a certain point, a while after the Titan War, Zeus was just being super annoying and he was pissing everybody off. So Poseidon joined Hera, Apollo, and some other gods to try to overthrow Zeus, just like Zeus had done to Kronos. What goes around comes around, wouldn't you say? So Zeus's wife Hera drugged him, and the rebels captured him and bound him to his couch and threatened to kill him. But the nymph Thetis brought Briareus, the 50-headed monster, to untie Zeus and protect him. That managed to quash the rebellion. Now, I couldn't find anything on why Thetis protected Zeus, but I think it was because they had a thing for each other. They just never did anything because it was prophesied that Thetis would give birth to a son that was greater than its father. And Zeus was like, no, I'm good. Because, as I mentioned in episode 3, his thirst for power was greater than his thirst for women. But anyway, after he was freed, to punish the rebels, Zeus sent Apollo and Poseidon to a year's servitude under the king Laomedon of Troy, and they built the famous impenetrable walls around the city of Troy, and also tended to the royal oxen. And when the king of the city refused to pay Poseidon and Apollo for their servitude, they got mad, and Apollo sent a plague upon the city, and Poseidon sent them a sea monster to ravage it all. I mean, I don't know why they would need gold or money or anything that a mortal king could give them, because they're literally gods and they probably have everything, but, you know, I guess they just wanted to get paid. I don't know. So, since overthrowing Zeus didn't work, and he still wasn't satisfied with just being the king of the seas, he wanted to take over a lot of earthly realms as well. For example, one of his better-known quarrels was with the goddess Athena for dominion over the city of Athens. And the competition was that whoever could give the Athenians the best gift would get the city. And Poseidon gave them a source of water in the form of a flowing stream, or in some versions a well, and in some other versions he actually created the horse for them. The creation of the horse is actually something for which Poseidon is famous. There are 2 versions of how it happened, the first being that he made it for Athens. The second was actually in order to impress the goddess Demeter when he was trying to court her. He wanted to create the world's most beautiful animal to impress her, but it took so long that by the end of it, he wasn't even interested in her anymore. But anyway, going back to the competition for Athens, Athena gave the city an olive tree, and when the results were inconclusive, Poseidon was like, alright bitch, let's fight for it. And, you know, Athena was like gearing up and shit. And Zeus was like, hey, you guys, I mean, I heard about this new cool thing. It's called democracy. And they let the other gods on Mount Olympus decide. And the gods sided with Poseidon, and the goddesses sided with Athena. And because Zeus withheld his vote, the goddesses were the majority, and they won, so Athena got the city. This was not Poseidon's only bid for power. There were a lot more instances. He fought with Dionysus, Zeus, Helios, and Hera for power over a lot of different cities, and this unquenchable greed made him very dislikable, so none of the other Olympians really liked him, and neither did women, turns out. He searched long and hard for a wife that would live in his undersea palace with him, but he was mostly unsuccessful. He had to, like, try really hard. At one point, he did have a thing for the nymph Thetis, the very same one that freed Zeus in the rebellion that they had. But like Zeus, he didn't want an heir that was greater than him, so he was like, nah, I'm good. After that, he became enamored with Amphitrite, while she was performing a dance, and she did not like him. She was like, ew, you're ugly. And she literally ran to the farthest ends of the sea to avoid him. At this point, Poseidon did not give up. So Poseidon sent his friend Delphin, a dolphin-shaped god, to be his wingman, and when Delphin finally tracked down Amphitrite, he managed to convince her that Poseidon was actually a good guy. She was persuaded to marry him, probably out of pity. So yeah, they got married, and they went on to have 3 children, one of which was King Triton, Ariel's father in The Little Mermaid, and also the mascot of my alma mater. So after Poseidon married Amphitrite, he went on to have a bunch of affairs, just like his brother Zeus. Like I said in the Zeus episode, imagine putting in that much effort just to get somebody, and then once you get them, you cheat on them a billion times. So rude. So stupid. One of the women that Poseidon pursued was the famous Medusa, the snake-haired gorgon that we covered in the last episode. According to the Roman author Ovid, she was a beautiful mortal maiden before she had snake hair. And when Poseidon violated her in Athena's temple, Athena was very mad about this sacrilege, even though it's just Poseidon's fucking fault. Athena actually blamed Medusa for it and turned her hair into snakes and made her visage such a terrible sight to behold that it would turn people into stone. I swear, Medusa was done so dirty. I still stand by that. At one point, Poseidon also decided that he had a thing for Demeter, the goddess of harvest, and she was also like, ew, you're ugly. So she turned herself into a horse to avoid him, and he was like, okay, I'll turn myself into a horse too. And he tricked her into mating with him, and when she found out, she was really, really mad, rightfully so. And she retreated into a cave to purify herself. And during this time of her cleansing, her absence caused the death of lots of crops and livestock, causing a universal famine. Poseidon is to blame. Why does Poseidon literally suck? He actually sucks. Like, so much. Demeter gave birth to a daughter, Desponia, and to Arion, a horse with the ability to speak to humans. So that's pretty much it for this episode. Pretty much what we've learned about Poseidon is that most of his conquests end in failure and he sucks. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!